How long do orcs live? With various versions of their origin existing from early to late writings, does Tolkien's text give us a definitive answer? If orcs originated as corrupted counterfeits of elves, do they share their immortality? In this Q&A video, I hope to answer some common questions related to the orcs, even allowing for the possibility of mortal and immortal orcs existing within the Legendarium. The simple answer is that Tolkien's text never provides a blatant answer to this question in The Hobbit, The Lord of the Rings, Unfinished Tales, or The Silmarillion. The origin of orcs, one of the chief races that feature in these stories, is still a matter of debate. Tolkien had various explanations for the origin of orcs, and sadly died before settling on a definitive answer. Christopher Tolkien, the editor of the Silmarillion, chose to include his father's most complete version of his work where he could, and this has resulted in the common belief that orcs are the result of the corrupted Vala Melkor capturing, torturing, and twisting the race of elves into the mockery that is the race of orcs. J.R.R. Tolkien's last thoughts on this matter before his death are given to us in an essay titled Of Dwarves and Men, which completely alters what Christopher chose to use in the Silmarillion. To the unfriendly, who, not knowing them well, declared that Morgoth must have bred the orcs from such a stock, the Eldar answered, "Doubtless Morgoth, since he can make no living thing, bred orcs from various kinds of men, but the Druedain must have escaped his shadow, for their laughter and the laughter of orcs are as different as is the light of Aman from the darkness of Angband." But some thought, nonetheless, that there had been a remote kinship, which accounted for their special enmity. Orcs and Droogs each regarded the other as renegades. Even this was not fully confirmed, and stands alongside other explanations offered by Tolkien. Orcs could have been made of stone and slime through the sorcery of Melkor. They could be the result of the corruption of mind and body of the East Elves captured by the Dark Lord. Beasts empowered by Melkor through his will. Sentient creatures without a soul, simply obeying orders and mimicking speech. Orcs could be the result of corrupted men, which would change some major events in the timeline related to the awakening of elves and men. Orc lieutenants could be fallen Maiar. Why not a result of cross-breeding between a mix of the above? A process later repeated by the likes of Sauron and Saruman. When it comes to the lifespan of orcs, the relationship with elves that exists in the Silmarillion gives rise to the claim that orcs could be immortal, since elves are immortal. I hope to show that even if Tolkien had given a final and concrete explanation as to where they came from, it does not change that orcs are not immortal. Be they creatures of elves, men, slime or beast, orcs as a race in Tolkien's Legendarium are not immortal. They needed food and drink, and rest, though many were by training as tough as dwarves in enduring hardship. They could be slain, and they were subject to disease. But apart from these ills, they died and were not immortal, even according to the manner of the Quendi. Indeed, they appear to have been by nature short-lived, compared with the span of men of higher race, such as the Edain. This essay on orcs, from one of the most fundamental must-read books for all interested in Tolkien's Legendarium, states that orcs were not immortal, and that they lived shorter lives than the Edain. For those unaware of this term, the Edain refers to the men of the First Age with noble houses, like the house of Beor of Ladros, the Haladin of Brethil, the house of Hador of Dor-lómin. The Edain lived natural lives of approximately 70 to 90 years, with exceptions. Even if we are very generous with their lifespan, it means orcs would live a matter of decades and not centuries. Exceptions could exist, but we are speaking in general terms. This fits with the way in which orcs are used and abused throughout the stories of Tolkien. They are bred like insects, disposable soldiers living short and brutal lives in conflict after conflict. Most orcs seem to die before being able to last to old age, to die of natural causes. They are used for their strength in numbers, in an effort to overwhelm, through brutality, those races who are unable to outnumber them on the battlefield. Destroying an army of orcs will see more orcs appear, with Dark Lords being relentless in their punishment of the race they loathe and rely on. There is a way we can tie in the immortality issue with orcs. Some of Morgoth's oldest servants were immortal beings of the Maiar, and some were said to have taken orcish shape in order to command and direct the orcs. This would lead to myths of orcs being immortal, as the same shapes would reappear years after they had been slain, or if they should have naturally died if they really were orcs. This last point was not well understood in the Elder Days, for Morgoth had many servants, the oldest and most potent of whom were immortal, belonging indeed in their beginning to the Maiar, and these evil spirits, like their master, could take on visible forms. Those whose business it was to direct the orcs often took orcish shapes, though they were greater and more terrible. Thus it was that the histories speak of great orcs or orc captains who were not slain, and who reappeared in battle through years far longer than the span of the lives of men. Personally, I really like this explanation. It explains away the issues surrounding orc immortality, while not seeming tacked on or cheap. We know that Melkor had many spirits with him when he was waiting to return to Middle-earth, when the Vala Tulkas was asleep. What shape did these spirits take? Not all Morgoth's servants were Balrogs, and some were said to take on shapes in mockery of the children of Iluvatar. When Melkor dwelt in Utumno, spirits served him who would have been able to take these orcish shapes when they had to. Shapes existing in mockery of the children brought into the world by Eru himself. Then Tulkas slept, being weary and content, and Melkor deemed that his hour had come, and he passed therefore over the walls of the night with his host, and came to Middle-earth, far in the north, and the Valar were not aware of him. We are told of Balrogs being the most feared and powerful of the spirits flocking to Melkor, but this indicates that there were others who were not Balrogs, or Sauron. The idea of some of these spirits taking high-ranking positions over orcs is, I think, reasonable to assume. Some choose to disregard the history of Middle-earth, even when Morgoth's Ring provides us with Tolkien's own thoughts in his later years. Some still enjoy the idea of orcs retaining immortality from the corruption of the elves. Knowing that Tolkien didn't like that solution to the orc problem has made me disregard that conclusion. To summarise, there may have been orcs who were immortal, but only because the spirit within them was a Maia taking shape as an orc. For regular orcs serving the Dark Lord, they had lifespans shorter than the men of higher race in the First Age. This means that orcs would have lived for decades, and possibly into the lower triple digits on occasion. This, of course, raises questions about just what the spirit within an orc was, but that's a whole other debate.